everyone, welcome to the new video. So today we are stepping into day 3 of Terraform tutorial series. So without further ado, let's go. So uh, in yesterday video, day 2, we saw what is the Terraform file structure, like what are the main files and what goes in which file, and then what are providers, what are resources, and how to what will be the content inside each file, and what we mean by Terraform init, plan, apply, destroy. But the demo is pending, which I have marked as pending. So whatever is pending, don't worry, we'll be covering it in the video. And I've already recorded this video once, but somehow there was an audio issue. I have to record it again, but this part will be pending after this video, and this loop part will be pending. Don't worry, I have written everything which is pending so that we can cover it in one of the video. So for today's agenda is we need to learn more about types of variables, how to declare those variables, how to use them, those variables in main.tf, and then default values in variable files.tf was file using output blocks. This we have already seen yesterday. So this part we already covered in day 2 video, but this we'll understand today in a very brief manner. So I've already made this repo in Terraform tutorial day 2, which I have given in description box of yesterday's video. I'm using the same repo, and I'll give it again in the description block of today's video too. So in this only I have mentioned that what are the Terraform kinds of Terraform variables that we can use. So there is string, there is number, there is boolean. So number is for integer, there is boolean for true and false value. There is list, string, then we have list number also. We have map of string, we have object, we have tuple, we have any. Now you'll be wondering when to use what. Don't worry. In string number boolean, it's very straightforward when to use string, when to use numeric values, and when to use boolean values, like there is only a true and false kind of situation, or 0 1 kind of, or yes or no. Then we need to use boolean. Why to use list or string or list of number? So in this, suppose there is one variable color which can be of multiple values. It can have multiple values like red, blue, pink. So it can be red also, it can be pink also. So in that case, when there is one variable, it can have multiple values. We define it in list, in form of list. Similarly, we have list number two. Like there is a port variable called port, but that port can be anything, right? It can be 8080, it can be 4432. So in this case we are again going to use list of numbers. Map of string, map. Why map? Because map is a collection of uh, multiple variables, and it is storing variables in key value pair. It will store value like a or vm name ram. So it will store value like this. And mostly this map of string is mostly used when we want to define tag, because basically in tags, when tags are when we create any resource in uh, cloud, we need to give some tags or labels to define that, or to identify that resource, like who is the owner, so that anybody who's logging into UI can see, okay, if this is a machine, who is the owner, what is the name, what is the email ID, so that they can refer. So tags are like that. So in that case, we need to use map of string when where we want to store something with a key value pair. Now comes object. Object is something when we want to store value as key value pair, but we don't know what will be the type. It can be string also, sometimes it can be number also in between. So in that case we need to define it using object. Like a can be string but b will be number, so we don't know that this the specific variable type will be string only. So in that case we define object. Tuple is again when we don't want to store anything in key value pair, but we also don't know the variable type. It can be mix, it can be boolean, it can be new number, it can be string. In that case, we are going to use tuple. And any, when we use any when we don't know that we don't want Terraform to check the variable type. We don't know that what will be the type. So in that case, we use any. I hope this is clear to every one of you that when to use what variable and uh, okay. Now, how to define it in variables.tf and how to use it in main.tf, how to refer it. I have everything defined inside variables.tf. So you can refer it in this GitHub repo. What we can do is, we'll start one by one. First, we'll start with string because string is the first one. So string is basically variable, region, default value you have to define, and the type will be string. There is one more thing that we can give is description also. That depends on you if you want to give. If you don't want to give, it's an optional thing. So, but you can give it too. Okay. In main.tf, you will be referring this variable as var.region. The var.variable name. That's it. Now, second is number. In number, we are going to define variable, the name of the variable. Default will be 3 because it's the type is number. Again, how to refer it in main.tf using var.count. Now, the next thing is boolean. In boolean, we are going to define variable condition check, the name of the variable. Default will be true because it's a boolean, so either true, either false, and type is bool, bool. How to refer it inside main.tf? So this is one of the example that I've given, that if var.condition check is true, then target will be Linux. So this is how you can use inside the resource block of main.tf or for any variable. Because when you see in main.tf, in resource block, when we define any variable, so here if you want target and if you want to do condition check and populate its value according to the condition check, you can use boolean like this. I hope it's clear. Next is, if we go back, next is list of string. So in that case, I'm defining variable. Now availability zone. This is also a type of service in AWS cloud, where there are different kind of availability zones present. It's kind of like, it's in based on name like US East 1, US East 2. So same variable, but it has multiple values. That's why we are defining it using list. So type will be list of string, and we need to define it like array. Okay, like list of Java or when and how to refer it inside main.tf. It is like var dot availability zone and the index number, square bracket 0, square bracket 1, square bracket 2. So in this way, when we know that okay, there are three values and we can call it, but when it becomes infinite, in that case we have to use loop. But loop part we'll cover in other video, not in this video. But loop part is also very important to understand. Similarly, I've given another example where lists of numbers I have defined. Again, we have to refer in the same way. It will be var dot port, and again 0 and like this. So I hope this is clear. Next comes the map of string. Now in map of string, I am defining the variable tag. Type I have defined as map of string. Then because it is again going to be defined as key value pair, it is going to store it like this. That's why we have to define both of the things, that in JSON format, that VM owner will be Sakshi. So in this way only it is going to store it on, create the resource and store it. Now, where if I want to refer the map in variable main.tf, we need to give var dot variable name tag, and in square bracket I need to call the key VM owner. So we'll get the value of that key Then in same way we have to call the key, and in this way we are going to use map. Next comes the object. In object we don't know that there can be string also, it can be number also. So when defining the type, we cannot straight away give, you know, uh, string or number. In this we have to give first object, and object we need to define in JSON that okay, this is the name and this can be string, this is the key and this can be number, and this is again another key and this can be string. And in default we in similarly we need to define the default values of all those key. And then if we want to call inside the main.tf, then we need to call it using var.dbconfig.serverhost, var.dbconfig.serverport. So in this way, it will not be defined like a list or a map. It will be defined like this, not in square brackets. Next comes our tuple. So tuple is not a key value pair, but here again we don't know that what variable type it will be. So again, tuple we need to define that the first will be string, other will be number. So this is how we are going to store. So if string, then ram, number, so that's why 9, string, that's why tira, and boolean, that's why true. And again, how we are going to refer it in main.tf is var.dbconfig, then 0 at 0th index, at 1 index, at second index. So this is how we are going to refer. Again, last is any. So any is this variable dbconfig, type is any. It can be anything and you can give the default value too. So this covers are all the variables. Next is the things that I covered yesterday, but it was included in this too. But I'll show you that how the default values that we are defined in variables.tf, how we can override by giving the actual values over here. So if our um, if our file is named in this way, it will, you don't have to do anything. Terraform will itself check, and it will check that if whatever is defined in variables.tf and that value is defined in terraform.tf was, it will pick that value. Suppose in case you define instead of terraform.tf, you define it like dev.tf was. In that case, there is a command to, when you do terraform apply, you need to give the variable file name explicitly so that it can pick up that file, because it won't be able to identify. So either you define it like terraform.tf was, or if you define it something else, then you need to pass that variable file name in terraform, like while doing terraform apply. Then next thing is that this is how we can override the values of override the default values. Then output block is like this. In output.tf you have to give output, then the output name, the value of that. So basically this we should know that we need to get the public IP of my EC2 instance. So I think I have made this incorrect. It will be not public. So yeah, public IB. So automatically, whatever you have defined in output file, you when you do Terraform apply, you will see the output of those things, because you have already defined it in outputs.tf. So it knows that you want to see the output of those values. So it will show the output. If explicitly you want to see any output, for that also we have a command. It's fine. We'll have a separate video with all the commands, Terraform output, and then then the output name, and will give you the output of that. If you want to look for any output which has already ran and you want to see it now, then you can do it like that. So yeah, that's all for today's video. I have listed the pending things, and one pending thing is Terraform list of commands. Yeah. So yeah. That's all for today's video. I hope it's helpful. Please let me know your views in the comment section. Till then, take care. Bye.